Yvette Cooper is also one of them. Labour's Home Secretary Yvette Cooper refused. She kept dodging the question, right, that was posed to her by, I can't remember who this LBC anchor's name is, but refugees welcome Yvette Cooper. Who, in this instance, anybody who has a refugees welcome sign literally might as, again, if they said imported votes or imported gang rapists, people would give the game, it would give the game away and people would understand what was going on. So she was quizzed on LBC about stopping or reducing the small boat crossings, the boat migrant crossings. And she refused to say definitively if the boat crossings would come down. And that's obviously because it's within her interest and within the interest of the Labour establishment to keep the boats coming across. There was a recent video, a little showy video, nothing more than a propaganda piece of the French police slashing a migrant boat as it was going to make its way to England's shores. And obviously they could have been doing this all the time. They're just choosing not to because Macron's regime is truly treasonous against his own people and ours as well, because we pay him hundreds of millions of pounds or euros, whatever it is, every year to keep these boats from coming across, and he actively doesn't do it. And what really shocked me is that people were saying that we should be giving bonuses to the French police who do this. I'm like, we already give them hundreds of millions every year to already do this. You want to give them more? All of a sudden there's a clip that comes out of them doing it to one boat, which I think had about 30 odd people on it, and you want to give them bonuses as an incentive? Tell me how the incentive isn't already the hundreds of millions that we give them every year. But anyway, this is Yvette Cooper, ladies and gentlemen. Again, doing what the Uniparty does best, not answering questions, and ensuring, at least by not answering the questions, ensuring that we actually do know the answer, that they're not going to do anything about the small boat crossings. They're just going to allow it to continue because they want these votes coming in.
Home Secretary, can you tell me the numbers will decline this time next year?
Well, that's exactly what we need to do. We need to get those boat numbers coming down. We need to, and no one should be making those boat crossings. So that is,
that is what we need to do, Home Secretary. Yes, but will we do it? Will the numbers be declining this time next?
The things that we are working to do at the moment, it means strengthening the law enforcement, and we need the law to change in Germany so that we can clear out the warehouses that are being held in Germany. We need the stronger law enforcement.
I think they make the boats in Turkey, don't they? And they make the engines in Germany. So for the third time, can you? When we talk this time next year to celebrate your 2 years in office, will you be able to say, look, the numbers have come down for the third time of asking?
That is exactly what I want to be able to come into the studio and say that to you. But as you know, Nick, we will do absolutely everything we can to go after the gang networks.
3 times.
Also to develop new arrangements around returns, for example, as well.
3 times.
So working to do.
3 times.
Mr. McFadden,
he asked.
Times and he can't say.
Again, the other guy you just said has been asked 4 times and he can't say. Again, because they don't want, they do not want the boat crossings to stop. It's their voter base that's coming over. It's more and more of what they see as their voter base coming over. Does it make sense yet, British man or woman? Does it make sense yet that they're doing this so that your vote, so that your say has less and less and less and less meaning, less power, until it has no power at all? Till democracy no longer exists, other than just as a part of a word in the wider democratic socialism that, of North Korea and places like that, right? Does it make sense yet? And again, she can't answer that question, because if she was to say, yes, they will come down, and as she knows they won't come down, they'll very likely go up, or at least remain the same. If she says they would come down, and then they don't come down, they can then just get her banged to rights and said, you didn't do what you said you would. You were in charge of this, you didn't get it done. So at the very, they got her on incompetence, basically, or malice. They've either got her incompetence or malice. She's trying to play the word game so that she doesn't get caught in these, you just didn't do what you said you would. Because then at least she could say, well, I didn't say that we were going to be able to get them down. I said that I was going to try. That's the kind of line they're going to try and pull in a couple of years' time, when this inevitably gets worse. And when you think about the people coming over, ladies and gentlemen, like we mentioned with St. John Lloyd School, getting kids to think about being a Syrian refugee, quote unquote, and coming over here, avoiding border crossings, pure indoctrination, all of this stuff, right, that we talked about in the last episode. You think, what are the people coming over bringing to this country? I ask you time and time and time and time and time and time and time again. What are the people coming over bringing to this country? Well, in terms of in Netherlands, in the Netherlands, they're bringing, as they've seen on even in America and places like that, they're bringing honor killings. Now, ask yourself: do we want honor killings in the name of a foreign god on our land? Do we want honor killings going on in the UK? Because this is what happened in Netherlands recently. 18-year-old, this lady was 18 years old, and this is another nail in the coffin of the integration myth. Because the reason why she was killed, ladies and gentlemen, is extremely important. So what happened here? This lady, a Muslimah, very likely in it by force of her dad and brothers, she was killed in an honor killing. And what her dad and brothers did, because she was dating a Dutch boy and she wasn't wearing a headscarf, do you want to know what they did, ladies and gentlemen? They taped her up and drowned her in the canal. They taped her up and drowned her in a canal because she wasn't wearing the religious garbs and she was dating a Dutch boy. Because the dad and the brothers, she was drowned for being too westernized. That's what she was killed by. And obviously you have the standard apologists for it in the comment section of this post. But I'm going to show you this, ladies and gentlemen, because I want this young girl's memory to live on. This was the girl in question. I want her memory to live on. And for those who are listening or watching, ladies and gentlemen, it says on the screen, 18-year-old honor-killing victim tied up and drowned by her father and brothers for being too, quote-unquote, westernized. I don't want to hear anything ever again about integration, about multiculturalism, about diversity, about any of this stuff. I never want to hear it ever again. When these people are killing their own, they're killing their own family. A dad killed his own daughter, and brothers killed their own sister because she wasn't going along with the backwards religious customs. And she was showing signs of actual integration with the place that very likely by choice they had moved to. She was then drowned in a canal, tied up and drowned in a canal. Can you imagine how terrifying her last moments would have been? That she's tied up, unable to do anything, unable to breathe, the burning of the water going into your lungs, whilst it's happening to you by your own family. By your own family, because you dared to actually adopt some of the customs of the society which likely you willingly moved to. And very likely your father at least would have had say on where you went to as being head of the family. These people are not like us. I feel terribly sorry for this lady. I feel terribly sorry for this lady. May God rest her soul. These people are not like us. They have no business being here. And these customs, if you ask me in an objective sense, they have no place anywhere on the planet. Not even in Muslim countries where they say that this is how Muslim countries are, or whatever. Things like this have no place on the planet anywhere. They have no place on God's green earth. But again, this kind of stuff, the